Thank you for that, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I think I've done this in mid-2 class. It's world death, and it's about a father who died. So I asked my students for valuing, I asked my students to write a song for their dead relatives, highlighting the good traits of their dead relatives. For me, I think with this, we can do the same, highlighting the good traits or the values of their dead relatives, and then to deliver it, nasa siya tulong.
Yes.
And maybe you can do it by groups. And it's also a way of connecting. And sometimes it helps the students open up what they really feel for their loved ones who have died already.
Yes, that is true, ma'am. No? So that's why it sort of more kasi consonants anima, which I moni akong gihimo. So based on samples of glossos provided, create a modern adaptation of the glossos in Cebuano on a particular person you admire, whether dead or alive. Yeah, the qualities of the person should be highlighted in the glossos.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, ang part sa teacher ani, the teacher is going to prepare for rubrics, no? For rating the work of the students. No, how are you going to rate it? That's based, it's going to be based on the content, then the creativity, then the timeliness. Kung saan na siya timeliness as a modern adaptation. No, so I think that's the only way how we can perhaps adapt no the glossos no in our classes, because ato sa mga estudyante di naman kayo mo makarelate mo good ani no matulong na sila pareha na to ron no isuka na. And then of course, ma'am, can we hear from you, ma'am, katong bahin sa Soledad, Anastasia and Soledad, which is an adaptation of. But can you tell the group, ma'am, what is it basically about? More about sort of a summary.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of Urbana Actriz. I actually asked Dr. Yu a while ago if she was inspired by it, and she said it was a rewriting of Urbana Actriz. Solidad at Anastasia are two friends writing letters to each other and giving advice about love, about men, like that. And it's very funny because one says that kung tambok ka o ganahan mo sa mga laki, mga niwang, maat ka sa Afghanistan, kaya dito, hindi kibuan sa imubanan mo, kung tambok ka, pagkagabiin na, maminyo na mo. Okay.
Because they're all covered.
Covered man. Or maat ko sa Alaska, kanumay na ang laki.
Asa man, ma'am, sa mga galing?
And things like that is makulit taog o engagement ring, ayun, really, basta it's a funny, but some students do not get the, mayon sila wala, gold digger, wala naman siya mo advice ng makulit taog o engagement rings o ay gold digger, o literal. But when I ask them to read it aloud, dito na sila makatawa. So, that piece, I will read it in class together. Kaya mas makita nila. Kaya kung hindi i-read aloud, concentrate man sila sa tansa-tansa mga words at hindi man understand. Kaya daghan man itong mga words. Kaya lahi mo po ang Bisaya, Cebuano, Bisaya ang nakatawag dito.
Yes.
But it's very effective when we read it together. So we had fun with that.
Okay. So, there is actually an adaptation, and I think that's written by Dr. Hopio. I tried to ask her a while ago about that, and she said, actually, I already forgot. No, so, because of her being prolific, but you have the tendency to forget things na. So, she's very prolific. All right. Besides the glossos, mo naman to, no, that had something to do with the lakda. That has something to do with urban and finisan. So, ang lakda, these are just samples, but I think you might have a better way of doing it No, so ang kabaran ako is, you have to assign your students to read chapter 3 of Blanca Mesa. Then ask students to make a modern adaptation through a comic strip on the article, giving emphasis on positive values. Na naman, because if you're going to read the entire chapter, that chapter is actually on superstition. No niya, ang naa dito was, ni-advise siya na yaan ang mga superstition, parehaan ng istorya sa mga abat o kanang mga wakwak. No, kaya nga naman, it is against religion ko, no? No, so, as a teacher, simple na sa gihapon siguro itong hapon is, we will prepare rubrics gihapon for rating student output based on content, creativity, or neatness of work. Diba? So, pwede siya comic strip, or pwede siya ipa-act na to sila, no? Based on that, para mas makarelate sila. Okay, how about for Linambay? No, assign students to read Alimpatal, and ask students to write a modern adaptation of a scene to act it out. No, let them bring costume and props. So, improvise na lang ba? Then audience will write a reflection on positive values which they can gather from the presentation. No, niya, dayon, still the same, the teacher will have to prepare rubrics for rating the presentation based on the script because they have to write modern adaptation. And then, of course, you will also rate them for the presentation of the scene, no more audience impact. And then, of course, you have to rate them for props and costume. No, so I think you might have better ideas how to engage your students. No, so kamo kung sa kay nindot pa natong buhaton besides these that I presented to you. Maglinambay sila. No, or we can actually ask them to perform the linambay itself, no, a scene. No, if we don't like the modern adaptation. Actually, ma'am, I have not also heard, ma'am, but we can. Oh, si sir, yes, sir. Unsa ko no, sir? Perhaps you can answer the question, sir. Ang scoring ko no, sir, sa presentation sa Linambay. Sorry kay sir, wala mo pick up. Sir.
Ako rin ma-recall na familiarize na ko sa with the script, for example, it has kailangan delivery pa na ikaw ang luwa. Actually, it's in verse. The rayon din na at the end of the
also, sir, sa pati, based on your experience, naa siya ay script good na ginagsuwat sa script niya dayon ilang i-memorize when they deliver. Okay.
O niya, sa script yun, sundot yun ang script niya. Doon ang klase na costume niya, ang costume na magpakita na muro, o niya, ang costume niya magpakita ng Christian. Ang mga Muslim na costume, sa una, nung luman ako, murang mo. Nanagtapo ko lang resistor na sinina, ang nakontra pa. Oo, nakontra pa niya, kukuros, murang rainbow.
Okay, sir.
Ang sa mga Kristiyanos, sa garan ito puputi, na stripe. Paliwaro nila sila, tanda pa yung sinina o manang makil. Kaya manamit mga sundao, na. Right na, of course, dami sila pagpapagin ng mga gowns, ang mga alisan, mga corona, na. Unya, grupo-grupo, hindi na pinagana na nila, mga putong, nakong demonstration, makakong Kaya mag-away na sila.
Yan, inaabang ko na yung background music, sir.
Kami na nag-graph na sundan yun. Sundan, kaaway ba? Sinilitan nila lang.
Oh, yeah. Kaya mag-istukada sila.
Sagaran ang ilang gamiton ng music kay Marcel Man.
Military nga, military background,
Ilang music kay Marcel. Anang Marcel di Zamboanga.
Okay.
Ilang music kung pasok sa lupa. Di ba? Sekarang Marcel na music sahay sentro po kini gamitin din namin po kita ko parang una ito na amo ng mga tawanan ay niya kasi lagi gamit ng mga music American melodies man sunya ang mga Amerikano ito mga panahon na ata
the modern adaptation of this, sir.
so pero makalingam ko kay ang pageantry ba? Pageantry and the color and choreography may makalinaw sa mga tao. Kanya, suga yun. Nainundog ko na ng mga suga na labi na mag-away na ang
Bonus of kasamos.
mag-away na. Gamit na ng mga kaleidoscopic ng mga klase sa suga. Nawa pa na niya ito. Karoon, nandito dihan na pero tao ang sinigin na na, mabuang ang ito yung karoon sa sugaan. Nanatok ito po, tumutok ito.
So, kung saan mag-isa, sir, who finances the presentation? Is it the community or is it a family or kung saan rin katao finances the 9-day presentation based on your experience?
Ang project in itself is project of the whole barrio.
Okay.
Oo. Kunya, ang production na mag-practice na nila. Sa kapamilya, muangkon sa snacks, muangkon sa kape, muangkon sa panso, tanan. Sa gabi, mag-practice na sila. Kung asa mag-practice at dito ang gastusan sa...
Sir, ang kanino mga performers, are they paid? Bayaran ba ang mga performers? Ano?
Ang mga tao, may bayad. Ang mga apil sa karan frame na, okay, may lang din kung puno ka, ang apil ka.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Saan ang Inglesin siya na, tapos,
Oh.
ayaw pa.
So halad yun siya halad yun siya. So they don't get paid ang mga actors. Okay, halad yun siya
Pero, gustuhan sila tabangan o gasto sa ilang sinina. Usara beda kasi nina ilang usara kasi ba for the whole 12 days or 12 nights. Mora na yung sa kasinina ang gawito niya, hindi natin mong kalaban. Mana ka?
Malibaw na.
Magabot sa ikat.
Siyam.
Siyam?
Sobra. Masigiyod na ba? Okay. Ma'am, you wanted to share something, ma'am? Thank you, sir. Thank you kayo, sir.
Just an addendum, based on my research and interview of those who have witnessed and ubadjud kaya naka-play sila, the scoring is based on live man ang band. So, si musical director na niya tanan. So, one also na-share problem on based on script na kung nakuha is the lyrics are there, na ang lyrics, pero ang score niya kaya hindi na ma-retrieve. And so, if it's kung ano na do well, so pas-pas. So, if depending siya sa scene. So, I recall the kabkaban or the sinulog na ritual. So, if musod ang mga monarch, so, pageantry, lahi ang tone, it should be royal. Pag battle sa paspas. And then, ang kanindot niya is live
when the writer or the playwright writes, siya man tanan mubuhat the dialogues and the song, tanan. Iyara ihatag sa, like, kanang nga ay director on music. Then, in connection with free ba ang mananaw, based on the research also of Mujeres, it's a version, ang version niya karang is kanang sini-sini, or kanang radyo ron na drama-drama. It's for everybody. And it's where, hanindot niya, it becomes a local project. People from all walks of life come together for one. And that is entertainment, and sa values food, Linampay was used to integrate values to the young children. Okay, because of course of the faith, nga non-Christian. And then for Alimpatar itself, the production composed of 100 people. Directors, artists, so many artists, mahimo sa tanan design, propsmen, and kuan siya tanan, kung painted, and then the stage itself, the old stage is duha ka level, so the upper is for the monarchs, the lower is for katong mga kuan lang, commoner, because there are three kinds of characters. You have the first katong princess, queens, you have the second katulang mga ladies in waiting, then the third is katulang gracioso, or kanang not siya humor actually, based on what I've read also, Alimpatar and Rakaib, it's not siya humor, which is a very characteristic of Filipino literature. We always have fun. Nagitay character nga kanang katawanan. Reflects siya of Filipino life. Yun nga. Regardless of the things na na-experience sa tao, we always still have fun. Sa iyang concept sa Linampay. Most of the siya, based on research also, I am doing now interviews of katong nakaabot pa jud. They said, free. Ang ganang mga dato mo finance.
But then, I understand, they have different kanang kung ano to itong palko o sibay.
Yeah, ang palko ang sibay sa mga kuanser, mga benefactor.
Oh. So, ang katong mga mananaw sa Linampay, wala sila diha sa ground, no, na sila yung stage sa ila na para mutanaw sila sa kuan, mutanaw sila sa performance sa Linampay. And yeah, these are for the benefactors. Okay. So you call it palko and sibay. Oh. Palko.
Dito siya because ang character normally ang kanang mga prince and princesses kay katong mga benefactors. So sa Karkar, that would be Rehes and Gatuangos, the original bit of the Linampay. But if they see a person na lead sa role, bisan puri pa siya or like bisan lower class lang siya, isod siya sa director. It just happens sometimes the playwright, the director, mostly benefactor. Okay, it's a community activity, communal activity. So tanan makasulod or makakuan yan. So still with regards to values na siya, and then partly one time in celebration of Karkar Fiesta, gihimo siyang way to para mapawa ang festive burden sa time na pobre jud ang Karkar. So they used Linampay as a celebration para mapawala to siyang bad event of the place. So that's the concept of it. That's so far what I have found based on research and interviews of this time.
Okay, thank you so much for that, ma'am. Other questions? If you have questions. Yes, Julius. Jules.
Sir, just a bit of a clarification on in terms of teaching the process. Is there a strict format or structure that we should follow or adhere to in order for us to call such work as a corso? I think in order for us to teach how to write corsos, it's important for us to know if there is such a structure, if it exists.
Yeah, I think similar na gid siya sa duha na to kasampol sa Gosos. It has something to do with a saint gid siya. It always kanang focuses on kanang mga miracles o kanang mga virtues niya. Yeah, there is always the refrain ba nga kaya to kana sa langod na mong gipuy-an imo kami panabangan. In the case of the Gosos sa Santo Niño, unsa to? Ang iyang kanako maluoy ka unta na kanimo nang ilaha. Yes.
But in terms of number of syllables per line, rhyme scheme, wala siya.
That I I do not know. That I'm not sure kung naabagit siya. If naabagit siya scheme ngayon na. Okay, next. Now, so I think there will be no more questions. I'll turn you over to the MC, Christoph. Thank you.
Daghang salamat, Sir Mansueto. Alright, so for the next part of the program, we will be awarding a certificate to Mr. Dale Mansueto. So, may I request the presence of Mr. Dale at the stage, and together with together with Dr. Hope Yu and Mr. TJ from NCCA and Mr. Nino Loyola.
Applications for grants that fall under their different programs. No? So how many arts do we have? 7, very good. What are the different arts? Literary arts, of course. Music, performing arts or dramatic arts, film or cinema, music, visual arts, and architecture. Alright, so we have the 7 arts, but the focus of my group is the literary arts. Of course, you can apply to the different arts, where whichever need it will fulfill in your area. So the website of the National Commission for Culture and Arts is you just need to remember this, ncca.gov.ph. So that's like ncca.government.gov.ph. Okay. When you enter the website, there will be a button for the grants. And under the grants, you can go to the specific category that you want to access. If you want literary arts, dance, etc. And so you will see a listing of the different programs that you may want to apply to. What do you do? There are 2 kinds of applications. One is an individual application, but the individual application is very limited. Limited in the sense that as an applicant, you have to have a very, very good proposal and also a track record that you have for your work. For instance, if I would apply for a publication of a translation of, say, Martin Abellana of Karkar. I want to have this published. Probably I will compete because this is a national competition. These are competitive grants. It's not only you who would be interested. Most of the people in the room will be. And multiply that with the many, many areas of the Philippines, so they too will apply. Now, there will be a vetting session. They will say, oh, this is a nice proposal, and then they will look at your track record. Is it good or not? Or your recommendations. And then there will be a, how do you call that, vetting by the selection committee. Am I right, PJ? Okay. So, now that's the individual, and there is also another kind of grant which is what you call organizational grant. Organizational grant can be accessed by universities, schools, you have the local government unit, or a civil or a non-profit organization.
or non-government organization or an NGO. Okay, if you work with the government, you can talk to your boss, or you are here yourself, then you can apply from the government unit. Let's just say LGU. Let's do this, clean up my presentation, and then you make the application and then submit it to NCCA under the local government unit. Or you can do this under your organization. Say, we are members of the Mga Anak sa Dagang group, group of writers. We want to have a creative writing workshop. Can we apply? Of course, you can apply. However, for organizational units, okay, if you belong to an org or your org is interested in applying, you need to have a SEC registration. So that means to say you're not fly-by-night. So if a local government unit immediately it's easy for them to apply because they're there. The organization or the university can do that. You can apply under your university. Okay. Now, what are the grant programs available for the literary arts? We have what you call Manunulat. Actually, we have a grantee. One of our grantees is going to talk tomorrow. Her name is Lian Rama, and her project is Babaying Sugid. It's a video documentation of all the women writers in Cebu and the province. So I think she has 30 to 50 writers, and then document all of this and then submit it to NCCA, and then you will have we will have a, how do you call this, a compilation. So that is for posterity. Who else do we have? Of course, the University of San Carlos brings you this, the Cebuano Study Center brings you this seminar through the NCCA. So I would encourage you to apply. So the Manunulat program is open. You can do your writers, like we have, how many writers from Karkar? 15 writers from Karkar. You can do a documentation on that, but most of, they're all dead actually. So you can, it's, you know, even if they're dead, we were able to do the Karkar lecture series. I don't have favorites sa akin. Pero hindi na ito ma-example ang Karkar because Karkar is so rich, but there are other areas. So you can do that. And then we have the Project Pangga. The Project Pangga, you can either submit a research work, no, that's for the Manunulat Day. The Project Pangga is for a school, an institution, to talk about the different subjects in the K-12. Either you do Philippine literatures in the 21st century, creative nonfiction. You can do the module and apply so that you can have a seminar for teachers. Okay? So those are two of the grants. I'm still thinking, DJ, can you remember some of the... yes, thank you. Now, there are two kinds of writing workshops for the NCCA. I'm sure you're familiar with writing workshops, right? Kinsa na yung naka-workshop diri? Okay, so si Ma'am. Who else? Kitty, Teresa. Most of the people here, because the creative writing workshops is where you apply, you submit your work, and then the organizers will check and say, oh, this has promise. Masaarong manunulat, magsusulat, o masaarong magbabala, sige. And then, there's a panel of experts to look at the work that you submitted. They will critique your work. It's to help you grow and set you on your way to stardom. Hopefully. So, yes, Sir TJ.
At ko lang po yung sa workshop. So may Tagalog po. Just to inform you guys, this is the first year that English video. This is the first year that the Siliman National Writers Workshop accepted works in Cebuano. So meron silang dalawang fellows this year. This for 57 years na yung workshop ng Siliman University. Pero this year lang sila nag-accept ng Cebuano. So they're exploring other regional languages. Kasi traditional English lang ina-accept nila. So I encourage every Cebuano writer to try and apply for next year.
TJ. So you have the Siliman Writers Workshop is one of the national writers workshop that is sponsored by NCCA. It also sponsors the UP Writing Workshop, the IAS, but it's always competitive. You know, like WILA, the Women in Literary Arts, can apply to be supported for a grant. Of course, you submit the publication, your proposals, and then the selection committee will vet on it. So tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, on Wednesday, I always forget. My tomorrow is Wednesday. On Wednesday, I will flash a sample of the proposal, because I know that most of you will be intimidated by a piece of paper asking you all this information. Hello, lisod only. So on maliit naman kung ganan mo fill up lisod, anak. Okay. Actually, it's very easy. You just give the information that's needed, and then they will ask you, so what is your rationale for proposing this kind of project? So you just tell why it's necessary. What's your project background? Has this been done before, or is this part of a bigger project na kulang lang ni no? And so we will talk about that, because I would like to encourage you to apply. The deadline is very close. The deadline is July 31. Yes, but you have a few, you still have a few days. July 31, you submit your proposal. If you have questions, you can do that as your homework tonight. Look at the website, check it out, because you might have friends in the other areas who might want to do music. Now, I want this original music of Insoy Linyal to be published, because he's a good singer, Cebuano singer, for instance. So that can be applied under music. Let us take advantage of the opportunity that, you know, the government is funding through NCCA our work in culture and the arts, because we don't stop with this seminar. After the seminar is done, we will continue our work in teaching and in culture and the arts. So there will be lots of us that will have to go forth and multiply. Diba? Well, our tribe should multiply. So on Wednesday, I will go over that. If you have questions, we can also tackle that, so that it can be clear to you and you can apply. Now, one of the other requirements, especially for organizations, diba, SEC registration, and then at least a track record of projects that they have done in the past na liquidate yun. Because if you have projects but you have not finished them, or the record is not good, of course it's going to be difficult to access that. And then you have to have a very good project leader who will make sure that once you apply, you'll see it through the finish and then do more work. I think it's easy, no? Kaya ra? And you can also go over, if you think you can do individual, go over all the different categories. Then pahitaan ninyo asa itong individual. For the individual, you can do like publications, but usually for individual. Like in the music, do you know Mingoy Lopez? Domingo Lopez is one of the Cebuano composers. And some of you will have known his music and some do not. But he's very famous Unsa to yung mga kanta ni Mingoy Lopez? Allah. Ha? Kaduhang Bathala, unsa pa? Rosas Pangdan. Oh, iyahan na. Ako si Rosas Pangdan. Now, but this is something that is lost to us because we don't listen. We listen to, I like the Cebuano. I don't know. Anyway, the son-in-law of Mingoy Lopez applied for a grant to publish the work of his late father-in-law into a CD form, and it was approved. Now they have a very good singer. Her name is Linda Dahaw. She will sing all the songs. She used to be a Tawag ng Tanghalan champion. She's already 80 plus years old. But if you hear her sing, the voice is so young, so powerful, that NRCP people were asking, how did you keep your voice? So, there are so many ways we can do work in culture and the arts. So please check it out. And if you have questions, I will answer that on Wednesday, okay? So tomorrow, we will come back and continue with the literature of the American period. There's so much there that's very exciting. We are bordering on the modern literature, and then the post-war, all the way to the contemporary. And if you have something to share, please bring them tomorrow as well. Okay? Can we give ourselves a round of applause? I'm so happy that you stayed and you are here because I don't feel as alone in this work. We have to do our work no matter what. It's the only way we can, bring the Philippines forward. All right. Sige. See you tomorrow.